Welcome to the Utah Football Fans Podcast. Please like, subscribe, and share. And as always, go Utes.
Yeah. Ready?
Always.
Let's get it. I'm telling you why. You can see in their eyes, them boys ain't playing, they ready to ride. Shaking the tunnel, just screaming and yelling.
Hey, Scott, did you talk to him? What did he say?
Oh, 2K Scott? No, he hasn't responded to me. All right. I'm a little offended. I know he listens to our podcast, so. But one guy did ask, is K Scott rise up? So, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, all the stuff.
Now the boys mad. We have to tighten them boys up. We here for the crown. We on the rise up. Now the boys mad. We have to tighten them boys up. We here for the crown.
Go Utes. Welcome back, Utah fans. This is the Utah Football Fans Podcast.
And everybody else.
And all of our fans from across the country.
Across the globe.
We've obviously hit a nerve with this topic, so we felt like we needed to come back and talk about it a little bit more. But thank you for tuning in, and we've enjoyed virtually meeting all of you through the comment section.
Most of you. Most of you.
Most
we've
are
enjoyed
good.
it.
Some of you. Yeah.
Most are good.
Some.
But please give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe on YouTube, all the other podcast platforms. Follow us on social media. We want to thank our sponsor, Thomas Orthodontics. Please give him support. It's thomasortho.com. He is down in enemy territory.
It's in Spanish Fark.
In that Utah County down there. So please give him some support because I don't know how he does it down there. But
Yeah, I'm not sure I could live down there. when you're driving down the street and just everything is I don't know how he does it. And to be this, he's a huge U fan.
Yeah. So definitely support him if you
Support
can.
Did you have braces?
No.
Did you have braces? You did? I didn't have braces.
Yeah.
My parents loved my little sister more than me, and so they gave them to her and not me. And
Yeah, that's rude.
They're smart.
Anyways, we do have some other cool partnerships coming up with Shields, with Red Zone. So keep an eye out on our social media channels. Those things are going to be popping up here in the next little bit. We're excited to get going with some of that stuff. But again, like we said, we struck a nerve with y'all with this. I think it struck a nerve with all of college football fans.
well, I think that's the biggest point of it. Like the landscape of college football, this has upset everybody.
Right.
And so it's interesting to see the different areas of the country people have tuned in. So we appreciate it.
And I want to clear something up right now.
Uh-oh.
We do like Ohio State. I think for some reason maybe it came off that we didn't last week, but go back to our previous episodes about after we played them in the Rose Bowl. We hold them in very high regard.
My opinion of Ohio State went way up after the Rose Bowl. Plus, now that you're going to have USC,
Yeah, exactly.
I am cheering for the Buckeyes.
We're Buckeye fans now.
Yeah, big time.
So where do you want to start?
Well, yeah, I just echo what you said. This is really a continuation of what we started in the last episode. So we'll just continue on some of those same topics. But let's, I want to start here with a tweet. It's from a fellow Utah fan, and it's regarding Utah.
Okay.
He goes by D.O.
That's it.
Yeah. D.O. Capital D, capital O.
Okay.
Anyway, the Utes are in excellent strategic position to survive the chaos and thrive wherever they land. Thanks to their geography, in-state recruiting pool, the solid media market, rabid fan support, and solid football infrastructure, the program is poised for success in whatever direction it goes. And when I read that, I agreed with it. You know, after all of the stuff that we talked about last week and have been thinking about and everything we've seen, yeah, it's a little bit worrisome. But whatever the new iteration will be in college football, I think Utah is going to be just fine because where we stand right now, Utah has a very solid football program, a very solid foundation with Coach Witt,
Right.
and with the coaching staff. It's a machine over there, but it's the culture and the climate. It's the whole package. There's no reason that's going to be changing anytime soon. So wherever we land, we're going to be contenders.
Oh, I agree. I think that
So I'm optimistic.
last year, obviously, we had a really good season. This year, I think the expectations are really high, but it's not an anomaly. It's not a 1 or 2 year thing. Utah's had a culture of this for the last 15 years, ever since Whittingham took over, right? Some seasons are better than others. It doesn't always lead to, undefeated seasons, but as far as a culture, as far as a program and stability goes, yeah, I agree completely. I think Utah is a desirable school to bring in because of everything that he just said. Plus, you have the fan base, the market, and it's a growing market too. Plus, the University of Utah as an institution is a desirable institution. So I agree. At this point, though, just kind of we don't know anything, right? Everything you read is
Realignment
speculation.
stuff, nothing yet.
We don't know anything, but whether it's Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, whatever it is, I think that Utah will land in a really good spot.
I appreciate his optimism. I can't say I'm 100% in that same boat. I still am worried.
Of what? What are you worried about?
I worry that the Pac-12 already had that, like, we're just looked down on.
The stigma of the smaller conference?
Yeah, and so if we stick around, which, again, we don't know anything. It's been a week since we last recorded. Nothing has changed except a lot more speculation and ups and downs or whatever. We still don't know anything, but I don't know. I just worry that we're going to get left behind. I
get that.
I completely understand what you're saying because I agree with.
I get that, but
Witt's just going to keep it going, but I don't know.
well, I think we don't have to repeat what we said last episode, what our preferences would be, which we have. In fact, I was watching one guy. He was from back east. I can't remember even what the podcast was or what the channel was, but he made comment that he had information. Like they all say.
They all say.
A source
Or sources, that in fact the ACC was in talks with Oregon, Utah, Washington, and Stanford to be a part of the ACC. And, who knows, man? I'm just saying that's this guy, if that's true or not, but if that happened,
sign me up.
that'd be solid. I'd take that.
I think what would be
So
really
who knows?
cool is the more I've thought about this, and the more I've had a week to kind of see what's going on, I think combining two conferences, if you could combine a large section of the Pac-12 and, the Big 12 or the ACC, and you kind of are the first people to create that super conference, I think that would be kind of a cool structure to do.
I don't know. Some people I was listening to, they were talking about how they feel like the SEC has it the best. They think the 16 team is the good size that everyone should shoot for. So
It's not going to stay static, though.
but
16 teams now. 10 years ago it was 10 teams was good enough, and then it was 12, and now it's 16. It's not going to stay static. In 10 years from now, the landscape's going to be completely different than what we're talking about today. So why not be the first that goes 20 teams? Why not?
Yeah, we don't know. Who knows? It's about money.
I can't make up
It's
my
about
mind.
television deals.
I don't know what I want.
It's
all
about the college
money.
playoff, football playoff, how many teams that will be, how powerful that will be, who's in charge of it all. I mean, there's so many factors. So I'm not going to worry about it. Am I worried that somehow we get screwed in the end? Yeah, that would be terrible, but I don't think so for a lot of reasons. Let me throw this out there for what you think. Obviously, the people who are watching, what they think throughout the country, because this involves all the conferences. The sentiment, it seems to me when UCLA took off for the Big 10, all the stuff that was being said nationally and on podcasts, on the networks, ESPN and so forth, and even with the comments that we would get on our own podcast what people were saying, and the guys like, the elitist Feinbaum, guys like him. The sentiment is that the SEC and the Big 10, that their conferences are, and their teams are the superior conferences
Right.
and teams, and that the Pac-12, the Big 12, the ACC, and everybody else are inferior to these conferences, that their entire conferences are the super conferences, the greatest teams.
Yeah.
And in my mind, that's garbage. It's pure garbage. And here's why. Here's how I look at it. There are certainly teams that are the elite, the superior teams of college football.
Bama.
There's one that's really recently, just in consistency and strength, and that's Alabama.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, is I would say probably most people who are watching this hate Alabama just as much as we do. Everybody hates Alabama.
Well, yeah, because they're so
We're sick
freaking
and
good.
tired of
We're
it.
just
sick of it.
we're tired
Everyone's
of it.
sick of it.
Yeah.
Everybody wants them to fall and to lose.
Yeah.
But if we're being objective about it,
We all wish
they're
we could be
freaking
Alabama.
good.
You can sign me up for that fandom where you lose one game and you're suicidal.
yeah. So Alabama.
You lose one game, you're in the national championship.
You're still playing in the national championship.
So then there's some other teams, though they fluctuate a little more than Alabama has, but to me, there's a few teams that are kind of in this upper echelon. One is Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
They may be the top and down, but they're always in play over the years. They're just in the top tier. I think Clemson, though they were down this year, they've been there. Oklahoma's been there. Georgia. They're LSU. I would say LSU, but all of a sudden they're at the bottom of the barrel right now.
They were terrible
Yeah,
last
they-
year.
They're
They
terrible.
tanked
So
all
that
of a
kind
sudden.
of teams are
Well,
up and down.
They pretty much had an NFL roster that then all left,
Yeah, so then they
so they tanked. But
But by the fact that there's these teams that are typically at the top of their leagues, the impression is the entire league is better than everybody else. I totally disagree, because if you look at the leagues and the rest of the teams, and I would say that Utah, Oregon, and I'll say it, USC, Oklahoma State out of the Big 12, I would say even Baylor.
from year to year, exactly, it's not the consistency.
Yeah,
But on a one-off year here and there,
But yeah, I mean, they're not as consistently fabulous as Alabama, but they're good teams most of the time.
yeah,
But what I was saying is that those teams could go into the Big 12 or the Big 10 and the SEC, and they are as good or better than most of the teams in those leagues.
I would agree with that.
It's not that those are super leagues and super teams that are like the NFL and everybody else is a bunch of garbage. No way. Look at the teams in those leagues. Utah, I'll just say out of the Pac-12, Utah, right now anyway. Utah and Oregon. We'll see with USC. They got a lot of talent. It just hasn't come together. I don't think UCLA immediately is going to do anything,
I don't think
personally.
UCLA is going to do anything
God.
for
But
the
I
next
think
decade.
No.
those teams out of the Pac-12
They could compete.
are
in
going to
any
go
league.
in and would compete in those leagues. They're not super leagues beyond those teams. I can look at the Big 12. I mean, Oklahoma State, absolutely. Baylor, of course, Oklahoma's leaving,
Right.
but there's a lot to. They have been when Lincoln Riley was there, but he's left. And last year they were 7-2, which is still a good record. But we're going to see what the future looks like.
Yeah, we don't know.
Texas, they haven't done squat. They were 3-6 last year.
Yeah.
And now they're going to the SEC. We'll see.
They're living off of that name.
But Iowa State, I
Yeah.
mean, all I'm saying, teams from the ACC, if they go into those conferences, they're as good or they can compete with those leagues. It's just those leagues typically have the top teams of the country. That's the difference.
You have the elites who are going to be hard to reach. Alabama. Until Saban's gone, that's not going to change. And who knows even then after. But you have the elite teams, but like you're saying, then it doesn't mean just because you have the one elite team that your entire conference, every team in the conference is the elite, but that's how it's treated. And like you said, that's what you're hearing throughout all this discussion.
So
everybody we listen to, the comments, everybody.
You get the comments, especially like SC or USC fans, and it's like, oh, we're back, baby. You guys have sucked for the last decade, so calm yourself.
It's not going to change all of a sudden because you're changing a conference that you're going to go in and dominate everybody. I mean,
right. So I pulled up the college football playoff from the last 4 seasons they've been doing this. Bama has been there 7 times. Clemson 6 times. Ohio State, Oklahoma, each 4. There you go. Those are the super teams. That's what we're talking about. Those teams bring the rest of their conference up. Then you've got
Georgia
twice, Notre Dame twice, LSU, Oregon, Florida State, Michigan, Washington, Cincinnati, all won. Okay, but when you look at the records of this, LSU won the national championship, so they've got 2 victories. Oregon won 1 out of their 2. The rest are over. Florida State, Michigan State, Washington, Cincinnati, Michigan, all losses. It is the power.
Because they lost to the 4.
They lost to the other school. It's
the 4 elites.
Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Oklahoma. By the way, is 0-4 in their playoff. So I don't want to hear from
they
their
are
fan
actually.
base. And then Georgia just won.
I wish I was there being
championship.
0-4 in the final.
I would kill to be 0-4.
Yeah, right. I would take that.
I would take that. So yeah, you go to the comments and we're the SEC. We're the SEC, dude. You're Tennessee. Calm yourself. Like, you've been irrelevant, but because you have Alabama and Georgia, you think that you're this super team in your super conference, and you're just not. I agree with you.
Any other?
No.
I did pull up. This is quite interesting. Now, I know there's a lot of metrics, a lot of data, a lot of information, how to analyze it. It's too complicated. There's no
my brain can't comprehend
one way as to who's the best and who isn't, and all that stuff. So we get it. But going to the college football playoff does carry a lot of weight. There's no, obviously. However,
it would be nice.
the college football rankings as far as top 25 winningest programs in the last 10 years. It's their winning percentage in the last 25 or in the last 10 years. Wins and losses. So, and then of course the winning percentage. But of course, number 1's Alabama.
Shocker.
Ohio State.
Roll Tide.
Number 2.
That pain you to
Clemson.
Buckeyes.
Oklahoma. Georgia. The very teams we were just talking about.
That's it.
Well, yeah.
So it corresponds. Oregon. Number
Oregon's
6.
6th.
See, people are trashing the Pac-12.
Well, okay.
Oregon's been in the mix for 10 plus years.
Yeah,
That's just a fact.
Okay, the numbers show that, but I will say, unfortunately, over the last few years, when a Pac-12 team makes it to the playoffs or makes it to the big stage, they've lost.
Well, the Pac-12 is no different than these other conferences in the aspect of they have their top tier teams. It's recently it's Utah, Oregon, Washington's been good until Peterson left, and then it's everybody else. We're just like every other conference in that aspect.
True.
So, but I agree that you could take the top of the Big 12, the ACC, the Pac-12, plop them into any other conference, and they would compete just as well as anybody else. And I think that's kind of the case that we're making. Unless you're Alabama or Ohio State or Clemson, then you don't really have a leg to stand on.
Yeah, they're dominant.
Yeah, congratulations.
I mean,
good
hat
for you,
tip, boys. Hat tip.
You know,
I'd love to be there.
I would exactly. Yeah, am I envious that Alabama goes to the freaking playoff every year? Yeah. Would I be broke going to the every single game? Yes.
Hey, but remember how we beat Alabama?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's groovy.
I do bring that up sometimes.
Except since then.
But they've got so many championships.
They got all the rings going. Yeah, okay, you took us out, but hey, look at all our rings.
I know, and I still don't know what Roll Tide means. People explained it to us.
They explained it to me.
I can't.
I don't want to know.
I can't get it, but Roll Tide.
One of my favorite things at the Sugar Bowl was they were selling T-shirts. At the time we were in the Mountain West, and some of the T-shirts still had, it was Alabama SEC, Utah, MAC conference.
Yeah,
It
it was
said
the
Mac
wrong.
I wish I had one of those. That'd be
It
worth
would
some
be
money,
kind of
dude.
cool. But yeah, it had the MAC conference on some of those shirts. And I was like, well, that's disrespectful.
Close. You got one letter wrong.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was just going to say, though,
Bama.
Notre Dame was 7. Interesting thing
Notre
about
Dame's
Notre
interesting.
Dame is now who just left their coach,
Went to
Kelly.
LSU. Yeah.
Kelly, he just went to LSU. Oregon
right.
is gone.
Yeah.
Now he
Mr.
goes
Voice.
to the Mr. Voice goes to LSU. We'll see if that turns around or not. So Notre Dame has a new coach. We'll see.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Wisconsin is 8, LSU 9, Oklahoma 10. I'm still curious to see how that's going to play out. Texas A&M was 11. You saw Texas and A&M, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. We went to a game last year. It was unbelievable.
Who'd they beat? Didn't they?
Mississippi State.
Okay.
Beat the hell out of Mississippi State. That was their cheer over and over and over again. It was great.
Say that.
No, they lost.
Oh, did they lose?
They lost. But it was the week after that they beat Alabama.
Oh,
Oh.
on that kick? That
Yeah.
was sweet.
So I wish I would have been at that game.
That would have been a good one to be at.
But it was Mississippi State.
Who's here? Tied at 16 is Stanford and Iowa. Michigan was 15.
Stanford, man, that's that team.
Stanford.
They just fallen off the map
The
for
last like 2 or 3 years, but before that, man,
No, they were
great
on the
when,
map.
when they had Harbaugh coaching them, and then Shaw.
Well, he's still there.
I know,
Shaw is
Shaw-
still there. He's lost his magic.
What a hard place to recruit, though.
They have the
Look
tree,
here, Utah.
James, the
Ugh.
tree.
So Utah's tied with Washington at 19 for the past 10 years.
I'll take it.
You've got USC.
Oh, are they after?
So all you USC
What?
fans,
there were a
that
lot that commented. So since Utah joined the Pac-12 10 years
we've
ago.
won more than they have.
Oh, that is an interesting
How's
statistic.
that?
So
this
you're
is
living
in 2000
But
with the Texas Longhorns and USC.
Reggie Bush.
And
Congratulations
Pete
on Reggie
Carroll.
Bush. He was amazing.
They were good.
yes, he
They were
is.
incredible.
Yes,
but
yes.
since we joined your conference, we've had a better record. That is fascinating. Interesting.
There you go.
All right. Oh, we're gonna get
The numbers don't
we're
lie.
gonna get just lit up.
Look, I'm saying that USC.
It's right there. It's proof. It's numbers don't lie.
Black
I
and
respect him.
Who? SC?
SC. Here's the interesting thing to any SC fans that may listen to us.
There were a lot, by the way.
Right. Is that, I mean, it's been fun being in the conference. I like playing
Yeah.
USC because it's
I do
a
too.
premier program.
It's fun when they come to town.
But we've always been saying, well, let me make this point. The fact they held on to Clay Helton as long as they did was stupid.
Yeah.
Mind-boggling.
And it was actually
Screwed ya.
a blessing to
oh, thank you.
the other
To us.
Hold
us
on, what year
others-
was that?
in the league because, hey,
'Cause he
it
sucked
didn't
so bad.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah, in 2013, they had Orgeron, who they did not hire as their head coach, and they went with Sarkisian instead. That went great. And then it was Helton. So thank you for that. We have, on this podcast, we have thanked you for that on more than one occasion.
And we've been baffled by it.
See, that's my point. Is that
baffled.
we were always saying, Utah, let's win all this stuff.
Well, we can.
Before, we always thought it was going to be Urban Meyer was going to end up at USC. But they were going to find a coach that was going to bring all the talent together, which they have,
yeah.
Which they have.
and turn it around. So we have respect for it.
Which might be now.
Well,
Well,
see.
we'll see. They got a ton of talent,
Anyway.
but they don't have line play yet, so that'll be interesting.
And Oregon, yeah, here's my view. I feel like in the Pac-12, people try to say Utah and their rival is Colorado.
No,
there's no rival
no.
with Colorado. Our rival in the last few years in my mind, has become Oregon, because we've been in the championship game 3 years in a row, or
3 out of 4.
3 out of the 4 years,
And 2 of them were Oregon.
and they beat us twice. We finally took them out.
No, they beat us once. It was Washington.
Washington beat us the other time when the game was like 7-3, and it was kind of a boring
Oh.
game. But we've played them twice, and they got us once, and we got them once.
So it's just between us and then at the top of the league. It seems like last few years.
It has been.
And
I think USC you could for sure say is a rival, mostly because it's the
USC.
South.
Yeah.
I mean, Oregon, yes, we've had those awesome games with them, but it's been in the championship because they're North, but I would say our South rival is not the Buffaloes, it's USC.
I would say it's USC and then ANSU way
Yes.
before the Buffaloes. So they try to cram that in there just because we came in the conference at the same time. There's no rivalry there.
Rumble in the Rockets.
I mean, that game typically doesn't mean anything either. No. So,
Though it cost us the South Division in our first year in the league, we could have gone to the championship, except we choked against Colorado.
It's true. It didn't create a rivalry, though.
Didn't create a rivalry.
Which
But
is kind of
if you look
surprising.
at the South, let's just take the South Division in the Pac-12 for the last, I don't know what it is, at least since 2015. Utah has won the division, the South Division, 4 times.
oh, that's pretty good.
USC's won the division 3 times.
Well, this is since the Pac-12 began in 2011.
No, this is since 2015.
No, I'm looking at your chart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is the Pac-12 era since Utah and Colorado joined.
Since 2011.
Utah has won the championship 4 times. And
the
USC?
division.
Wait. 3 times. Wait, that's less than 4. Weird.
UCLA's won it twice.
You know, UCLA, we're never going to hear from them again.
I just read an article
You
about...
know, I mean, reality.
No, well, who was I reading? It was this John Canzano. I think he's the Oregon broadcaster. But he was talking about UCLA, and he said that their athletic department has run up $103 million deficit.
Are they the federal government? What?
Pretty much. It's California. Over the last 3 years.
How? On what?
Well, probably because they were making no money. Think about it. They've had no fans. They've had no income.
I know.
Not just, I mean, they've kind of sucked, but all the COVID protocols and everything, they've had no income.
But there's other California schools too. But it was when you turned on that first game last year of UCLA and they panned the stadium and there was 14
there's-
people.
Yeah, that was
There.
bad.
That was embarrassing.
That's terrible.
His point is basically just UCLA is going to just focus on basketball, and football is going to
Well, you look at the comparison schools that
But
they're going to go play.
$103 million deficit.
They're gonna be battling Rutgers
That's
for
true?
last place. That's crazy.
I don't know. I haven't looked at that, but if it is, that's not good.
No.
That's the kind of
That's good analysis right there.
Only
That
from
is-
this podcast. Oh,
By the way,
bad.
so I'm the old man. The tall dude made a comment.
Yeah, he did.
Hey, tall
we
dude.
still don't know his
We
name,
don't know
though.
his name.
So
Talked
I
to him
think
for like
I
an
think
hour
his
and a
I think
half.
his call sign is lanky guy or something like. Hey, lanky guy. I like tall dude better. Thanks for watching.
Oh, man. What were you talking about? UCLA.
The garbage can that is UCLA.
Yeah.
I liked playing UCLA. It was fun just
I like playing
Well,
UCLA.
I like going to
walloping them.
I like going to Pasadena.
Anything else on that subject?
No, I think we sufficiently pissed off enough fan bases for
I don't know why.
No, we're not. It's
No, it isn't.
it's
We're talking for
facts.
all of the fan bases.
I mean, Utah has won the most South championships since Pac-12.
That's true.
That's just a fact. Facts are facts, people.
Deal with it.
And, of course, Oregon. The North, it was Oregon, Stanford, and then Washington.
You know, it's going to be, I'm really interested in this season's going to be super interesting because Oregon, new coach, new quarterback. USC, new coach, new quarterback. Like the 3 best teams on paper, Utah has the most stable of all 3 of them. It's going to be really interesting.
Didn't we get rid of divisions too?
Yeah,
Does
we
that
get rid of
start-
divisions.
Just the top 2 teams.
starts
It's
this
just
season too?
It starts this year.
Which is weird.
That will be kind of weird to keep track of that, but that'll be kind of cool.
Okay, let's go here. I'm not sure if our national friends will completely understand. Lil Willy. You want to talk about Lil Willy?
What?
Well, we're just jumping into that.
Just going right
Where
into
do you
it.
want to go to?
I mean, you can't. I was going to say you can't tease the little Willy, but that's probably not the best way to say that.
You said it.
I mean, for those of you who are unaware,
Or do we want to talk the Big 12 warning first?
let's do Big 12 warning
Yeah,
first.
I think that's the better way to approach.
Okay.
and then we'll prove our point later on.
Okay. To our friends in the Big 12.
Our new friends.
Our new friends in the Big 12.
Who are very passionate, by the way.
we
I
consider
made some
you friends.
We may end up being in the league,
Yeah.
which would be fun. I'm okay. That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great. So I'm just,
We have
if
a
we
warning.
are, if we're not, this is a public service announcement
Very serious.
to the Big 12.
Very, very serious.
So give ear. Do you want to
I'll just say it.
tell us what we got? Just so that you know.
Just this is coming from a place of love, from people
experience.
who have experienced this vitriol for
Love and
a
experience.
long time. No matter how many times or how badly you beat a certain new school that will be joining you, that is also located in the state of Utah, their fan base will not shut up. They will not go away. And they will talk as though they have not lost to you in 20 years. For example, you can beat them 9 out of 10 times, and they still run their mouths. And if you don't believe us, just go to our comments on all of our YouTube pages.
My warning is to be prepared for the most arrogance you've ever seen in your entire life. My other warning is
Arrogance is a good word
to
for it.
prepare for, even if they lose to each of you, they will still declare themselves champions of your conference, no matter how many of you they lose to. We're just preparing you. Be prepared. It's the Boy Scout motto.
Well, they're not even in the conference yet, and they somehow still might
That's true. So
win
this season,
the Big
They're going to
12
win the
this
Big
year.
12
they're
this year.
going to say they're champions.
They're champions of your conference, and they're not even in the conference
Look,
yet.
let's just say who it is. It's
BYU.
It's BYU.
Good
Now,
luck.
that's the
Well,
last
you
time we're
didn't
going
know
to say
that
it.
at this point.
Good luck. Just honestly, like with all seriousness, good luck.
Good luck. Have fun.
No, you
Yeah,
have.
we may have to, they're our little brother, so they're obnoxious. We've just had to deal with them.
And you have to call them Zoobies.
Explain that. Why do we?
We don't really know.
Okay,
Well,
we call them the Zoobs. So you can pick up on that. It's because it's the BY Zoo. It's a zoo down there. They're nuts. They're crazy. So they're Zoobs. That's what we call them.
It's just stuck. So you can take that. We will give that nickname to you.
Use
You
it.
are
Run with
welcome
it.
to take it. Big
What we're
12.
trying to say is they are a hated fan base, and you're going to find
You're
out
gonna find
why.
out
I'm
why.
just warning you right up front.
They are the most obnoxious fan base you'll run
Absurd,
into.
crazy, irrational,
You beat them by 45
nuttery
points,
that you'll ever see.
and all of a sudden, well, if we didn't have those holding calls, we would have beat you. Well,
Okay.
you did.
We'll just you've been warned.
You've been warned. And to prove our point, 2:30 in the morning, we're getting comments on the Utah Football Fans Podcast YouTube page from said Zuby fans at 2:30 in the morning. What are you doing? Go to sleep. Anyway,
Be advised.
be advised. So to transition that somehow,
Because it's an ex-Zoob. We're talking about an ex-Zoob.
an ex-Zoob.
And he's an NFL player. So, yeah.
Yeah, if you don't know the drama, we'll catch up just real quick. So, one Lil Willy Zach Wilson, who is now the quarterback of the Jets.
We call him Lil Willy.
Little Willie is his forever nickname.
It's Lil
Just
Willy.
always has been, always will be.
He never did beat Utah.
I was going to say,
by
he
the
never
way.
beat Utah. So, just putting that out there. Dating a girl. Fine.
She was beautiful,
Beautiful.
gorgeous.
I think she was like 20, so there's that. So, she was young. They break up. She is now dating his best friend, who is on the practice squad of the Washington Commanders.
That proves the Washington is crap.
They played.
That he's on the practice squad? It's true.
They played together at
Roommates,
Zubyland.
best friends. Well, now she left Little Will,
A while ago. It's a months
drove
ago.
down the eastern seaboard, went to Washington, and is now dating his best friend. So there's that, and there's the drama of that. Okay, fine. That alone, who cares? No one cares. I stole my wife from my best friend in high school, so whatever. That happens. Well, here we're moving on.
Wow.
Wow.
Where it gets interesting is when Little Willie was then accused by said ex-girlfriend of sleeping with his mom's best friend.
Okay.
Fill in the
No,
gaps.
okay, so
That's the truth.
no, I know. But what happened was his ex-girlfriend and her new boyfriend, the Dax Milne or whatever his name is, they posted a picture on Instagram to become Instagram official. Someone commented to her and said, "You're a homie hopper," because she went from best friend to best friend. And then she replied and said, "Well, he was sleeping with his mom's best friend. That's the real homie hopper." So Lil Willy has been accused of sleeping with his mom's best friend.
That is so gross.
It's pathetic, but this is what we're talking about.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about
the nuttery of Zubyland.
the golden boy
and the justification
of
the
the golden
their fan
child
base.
of the Zoobs.
Oh,
The guy there's a building down in Zubyland of him on it.
yeah, we saw that. I remember.
Okay, remember seeing that?
It's his face painted
the
on
blonde-haired,
It's creepy.
blue-eyed
Well,
Wonder Boy. And how far do I go on that? I don't think I'm gonna
Not
go
too far.
I'm not going too much further. But there's certain standards that BYU
professes to
professes, and there are a lot of really solid guys that
yeah
follow what the rules are at BYU. And there's always some that don't, and it's overlooked, apparently, because Zachy wasn't Mr. Holiness. Anyway,
Allegedly.
no
whatever.
not allegedly
He
on
goes
good
off.
on good authority.
Do what you want to do, Mr. Golden Boy, but you don't go get it on with your mother's best friend.
The guy's living in New York City.
They're in their 40s. I guarantee she's in her 40s.
Oh, 100%.
Zoobies.
I hope
What,
she's
like,
in her
Are you
40s.
gonna? So Zoom's gonna get on and attack us for bringing it up?
Yes, because he's their golden child. So it's so gross.
Guess what? He did it. It's not our fault that he did it. We're just talking about it.
Yeah, and don't you're right. They have this, they profess of this the holier than thou attitude until their golden child goes and does something like this, and then it's the justification on Twitter is really what
But it's just
it's vile.
so ironic that he played for the Cougars.
He
He hasn't denied it yet, so that tells me a lot. What can I say, man?
Okay.
Oh, it's alleged. All this is alleged.
Here's
but-
what I still maintain. Little Willy looks like he's 15 years old, so that makes it even grosser to this woman, whoever you are.
Here's where I'm at.
But he's an NFL player, so I guess whatever.
If I'm dating a girl and she comes out and accuses me of sleeping with my mom's best friend, it does not take me more than 3 seconds, especially if I'm an NFL quarterback, to jump on my Instagram and shut that rumor down hard. The silence, it's been 48 hours. The silence is pretty deafening there, little Will.
So here's the question.
He's gonna be a flop anyway.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Does Little Willy get the Jackass Award, or are we awarding him something different this week?
I don't know. I don't
know if he should get an Academy Award, or
does he get like a little like
Like a
good
clap?
job?
I mean,
Do we have applause?
No, I get more like
No, do we have applause meter over there or something? I don't know what we've got.
but have you seen his now girlfriend?
yeah.
How old is she? 53?
Dude, no. No.
Hold
no.
on. Is she a smoke show?
Oh, yeah. See, I don't. Well, okay. Brandon, he's
wake
an
up.
NFL player. I have to keep saying that because he's not. He looks like he's 15.
Enjoy. He's not gonna make it. Mark my words.
So enjoy this while you can.
We bring all this up so all you Big 12ers out there.
Be prepared.
That's what
It's
you're going to
coming.
run into.
It's
You'll
coming.
understand. Give it
2
3 years. You're going to understand what we're talking about.
You're gonna come back to this episode and be like, man, those guys were
They were
correct.
on.
They were spot on.
Spot on.
What you're going to realize is the Zoobs are the preseason national champions every year.
Every year.
It doesn't matter. Okay. Anything else we want to say on this?
Nope.
No, I think we're sufficient on that topic.
Well, okay. We're still waiting on any developments
We will bring
on the
them to you.
national scene. And I guess if we get anything,
The big thing to remember here is we still have a season to play.
absolutely.
A big season.
This all the stuff that's going on and all the talk of other conferences and realignment, it does not affect this season at all. There is still
Nope.
Pac-12, the Pac-12 championship, and with this squad, the and beyond, right? So I don't think this. One thing I do have confidence in is Coach Whittingham. He's going to have these guys focused on this year.
They're focused. They're
we don't
ready to
give a
roll.
crap what happens in 2 years. We don't care where we go. It's this year, this team. Let's go right now. And that's kind of where my focus will be. I think as things change, we'll talk about it. But next time we podcast, I think it's going to be fall. Fall camp is going. Talk about that. Get going.
Yeah, unless there's something changes, it might be that as it may. But you're right.
Yeah. Let's see.
We've got a season to
baby.
play and a
56
conference to win,
56 days, I think.
and then we'll see where it goes.
The swag.
And it's going to be fun taking out USC. And we're going up to Oregon, so we can take them out too.
Yeah.
And UCLA. Do we play UCLA yet?
Yeah.
We do.
At UCLA
In front of 5 people.
in October.
In front of 5.
So it'll be that's what it's like
the Rose Bowl.
Stanford last year.
Pretty
13
much.
people in the stands.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
One of these days we'll rank the stadiums in the league. What do we think?
We've been to a number. There's like
rank helmets.
I think there's
We done
only a
that?
few that
Yeah.
none of us have been to.
I've never been to Colorado, Pullman,
And Anus U.
never been to ANSU.
None of us.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, leave your comments. We appreciate hearing from you, actually. But subscribe. Stay tuned. And go Utes.
Go Utes.
Yeah. Ready?
Did you look
Let's
her
get
up?
it. I'm telling you why. You get cheers and
An
eyes. The boys they
influencer.
playing, they ready to ride. Shaking the tunnel, just screaming and yelling if you ain't
It's just a
ready,
bunch
you
of
get
pictures
eaten
of him
alive.
standing in the
Taking
mirror.
field
Let me
with
find
lots
her.
of
He is
passion.
I'm
one
gonna find.
pompous dude.
Cameras out and they stay
Look at me.
Captain's out, we about to get it cracking.
That was worth $100 million. I'd probably post a bunch of in Cabo San Lucas too.
Like an army mission when it's wartime. We stacking them W's, pay attention. Opponents coming with apprehension. We stay on top of our division. Went from BCS buses to playoff contenders. We on the rise up. Now the boys mad.
Some of the memes of Zach Wilson are so good.
We here for the crown.
Go Utes.
We on the rise up. Now the boys mad.
Okay, here's his current girlfriend.
Let's see. I have a visual of what she looks like. Oh yeah, he's. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, he